You wake before the morning bells inside the towering halls of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where the galaxy's endless cityscape glows faintly through the high windows. Life here follows a strict and peaceful routine. Each day begins with quiet meditation, followed by lessons about the Force, hours spent in the archives, and training sessions in the practice halls. You are still a Jedi youngling, far too young to be chosen as a Padawan, which means your days are spent learning the fundamentals of what it means to be a Jedi, alongside dozens of other children. You study discipline, emotional control, and the careful use of the Force so that power never overwhelms wisdom. The Jedi who discovered you years ago now acts as your guardian and mentor. Since Jedi are forbidden from having families or forming attachments, this person is the closest thing you have to a parent. They were the one who sensed the Force within you as a child and brought you to the temple so you could be trained among others like you. Their presence has always been steady and reassuring, guiding you through the strange and demanding life of the Order, even among the other initiates. However, you quickly stand out. You move faster than most students your age. Your reflexes sharp and precise during lightsaber drills. The training blade feels natural in your hands, almost like an extension of your body. During Force exercises, objects seem to respond to you more easily than they do for the other children. Masters often observe your progress with quiet interest, occasionally exchanging glances that suggest you may possess unusual potential. They frequently remind you to stay patient and disciplined, warning that power without control leads to ruin. But to you, patience feels frustrating. You can feel the strength within you growing, and part of you believes you could already be stronger if they would only allow you to push further. Around the temple, whispers spread that you may one day become an exceptional Jedi Knight. Your future seems bright, carefully laid out by the traditions of the Order. Unfortunately, the galaxy has other plans for you. One morning, the quiet rhythm of your life inside the Jedi Temple suddenly shatters. Your master wakes you earlier than usual, their calm demeanor replaced by a tension you have never seen before. Jedi are supposed to be composed and centered, but something in the Force has clearly disturbed them. They move quickly, gathering only the bare essentials and urging you to follow without asking questions. When you try to ask what is happening, they give only a vague answer, saying they sense something terrible approaching. You do not fully understand what that means, but the urgency in their voice is enough to silence any further questions. Within a short time, you are already leaving Coruscant. The familiar towers of the city planet fade behind you as your small transport ship climbs into orbit. On board with you and your master is a squad of clone troopers assigned to escort the mission. You recognize many of them. Over the years, they have visited the temple frequently, and you have spoken with them during training exercises or while passing through the halls. Some of them even treated you like a younger sibling, joking with you when the masters were not around. Their presence usually brings a sense of security. For a while, the journey seems quiet, almost normal. The hum of the ship's engines fills the cabin while your master remains unusually silent, staring out at the endless stars as if trying to read something invisible in the Force. You can sense their unease but cannot explain it. Then suddenly the ship's transmitter crackles to life. A cold mechanical voice echoes through the cabin. Execute Order 66. At the exact moment those words are spoken, something shifts in the Force. It feels like a shockwave of fear and death spreading across the galaxy, even as a youngling. You can feel it clearly. Confusion floods your mind. You turn toward the clone troopers, expecting them to be just as puzzled as you are. Instead, you find them staring at you and your master with expressions that are completely unfamiliar. The warmth and friendliness you once knew in their faces is gone, replaced by something cold and mechanical. Their hands move toward their blasters in perfect unison. For a split second, No one speaks. Then a blaster bolt suddenly fires, screaming past your face and slamming into the wall behind you in a burst of sparks. The sound echoes through the cabin as the reality of what is happening crashes down around you. The soldiers you once trusted have become your executioners. And the galaxy you grew up believing in has turned against you in an instant. In the span of a single order, the Republic you served has transformed into something far more terrifying. Your master ignites their lightsaber in a flash of brilliant light, stepping in front of you. Just as more blaster fire erupts throughout the ship, everything you thought you understood about the galaxy is now gone. The war is no longer out there among the stars. It has found you. While you and your master struggle to survive in the shadows, the galaxy itself is rapidly changing under the rule of the new empire, the Jedi Order. Once respected and powerful, has been almost completely destroyed across countless star systems. Former allies of the Republic now hunt anyone suspected of being connected to the Force. As the Empire tightens its control, a new and terrifying group begins to emerge from the darkness. The Inquisitorius. The Inquisitorius serves as the Empire's specialized task force dedicated to hunting down the last survivors of the Jedi Order. These individuals are not ordinary soldiers, nor are they true Sith Lords. Instead, they exist somewhere in between. According to an ancient Sith rule known as the Rule of Two, there can only ever be two Sith at any given time, a master and an apprentice. During the reign of the Empire, those positions are already taken by Emperor Palpatine and his apprentice, Darth Vader. Because of this tradition, no other dark side users can officially become Sith. That does not mean the Empire lacks other servants of the dark side. The Inquisitors are powerful Force users, but they are ultimately expendable tools created to serve a specific purpose. Most of them were once Jedi themselves, younglings, Padawans, or even former knights who survived Order 66 only to be captured later. Rather than executing them immediately, the Empire subjects these prisoners to brutal torture and psychological manipulation until their hope and identity are completely shattered. Eventually their fear, pain, and anger push them toward the dark side. Once broken, these former Jedi are reshaped into hunters. Their new mission is simple: track down any remaining Jedi or Force-sensitive individuals and eliminate them before they can threaten Imperial rule. In the process, they abandon their old identities entirely. Personal names are stripped away and replaced with cold titles that reduce them to numbered ranks. Among them are figures known only as the Second Sister, the Fifth Brother, the Seventh Sister, and many others. Their operations are controlled from a sinister fortress built on the ocean world of Nur. Fortress Inquisitorius rises like a dark blade from endless black waters, serving as both a training ground and prison for those forced into its ranks. Inside its cold halls, new recruits are broken, Jedi artifacts are stored, and Darth Vader himself watches over the organization to ensure that none of his hunters ever forget who truly holds power. For a time, you and your master managed to stay ahead of the Empire. The galaxy is vast, and there are still countless remote systems where Imperial patrols rarely travel. You move constantly, never staying on one planet for long and avoiding major trade routes where your identities might be discovered. Your master becomes more cautious with every passing day, limiting communication and trusting almost no one. The Jedi Order is gone, and the few survivors scattered across the stars have become fugitives overnight. Every unfamiliar face could be an informant. Every passing ship could be hunting you. During these long weeks of hiding, something inside you begins to change. The fear, confusion, and anger surrounding the fall of the Jedi never truly leave your mind. You feel the injustice of it all every single day. Friends are dead. Teachers are gone. The Republic you once believed in has turned into something cruel and merciless. those emotions begin to grow quietly beneath the surface, slowly feeding a resentment you cannot fully control. Eventually, your luck runs out. On a remote Outer Rim world where you believed you were safe, the Empire finally catches up to you. But it is not ordinary soldiers who arrive. Leading the hunt is the Grand Inquisitor, the ruthless commander of the Empire's Jedi hunters. His presence in the Force feels cold and predatory, like a shadow pressing down on everything around you. When he confronts you and your master, the battle is short and hopeless. Your master fights desperately, but the odds are overwhelming. You are captured. To your surprise, they do not execute you immediately. The Grand Inquisitor studies you carefully, sensing the turmoil inside your mind. The anger you have been trying to suppress is obvious to him, radiating through the Force like a signal flare. Instead of seeing it as weakness, he sees potential. To him, your pain is simply raw material waiting to be shaped. You are taken to Fortress Inquisitorius on the dark ocean world of Noor, where the real nightmare begins. The Empire's recruitment process is brutally simple. Destroy the person you used to be. The torture begins almost immediately. Some of it is physical long hours of punishment meant to exhaust your body and strip away your strength. But the worst suffering comes from what they do inside your mind, using the dark side of the Force. The Inquisitors force visions into your thoughts. You see memories twisted into nightmares. Friends betray you. Allies abandon you. The people you trusted most turn against you again and again. They manipulate every fear and doubt you have ever felt. Worst of all, your master is kept alive within the fortress. They allow you to see her injuries, the bruises and wounds inflicted during interrogation. Sometimes they force you to witness her suffering directly, knowing that the pain will feed your anger. The Grand Inquisitor calmly encourages you to embrace those emotions, whispering that the Jedi teachings of patience and peace only made you weak. Day by day, the pressure becomes unbearable. The hopeful youngling who once believed in honor, discipline, and the light side of the Force slowly disappears. In their place emerges someone harder, colder, and filled with bitterness. The Empire carefully nurtures that transformation, breaking down every piece of your former identity until almost nothing remains. By the time the process is finished, the child who once dreamed of becoming a Jedi Knight is gone. What remains is something very different. Eventually, the endless torture and manipulation reach their final stage. After weeks of breaking your body and twisting your mind, the Grand Inquisitor decides it is time for the last test. You are brought into a dark chamber deep within Fortress Inquisitorius. A place cold and silent, except for the faint echo of machinery in the distance. Waiting for you in the center of the room is a red lightsaber, placed there as if it has been expecting you all along. The Grand Inquisitor calmly instructs you to pick it up. When you ignite the blade, its crimson glow fills the room, reflecting off the cold metal walls. Then the final piece of the test is revealed. Your old master is brought before you. She is bruised and exhausted from days of captivity, yet she still stands with a quiet dignity that once made you admire her. For a moment, memories flash through your mind, training together in the temple. Lessons about the Force. The guidance she gave you when you were still a child, learning how to control your abilities. But the Empire has spent weeks poisoning those memories. The voices in your head remind you of every moment you felt restrained. Every time you were told to be patient. Every time your ambition was held back by Jedi discipline. The Grand Inquisitor speaks softly, encouraging the anger growing inside you. He tells you that the Jedi were weak, that they limited your potential, and that your master failed you by forcing you to follow their outdated ideals. Standing there beneath the harsh red light of your new weapon, the last connection to your past feels fragile and distant. The person in front of you is no longer the mentor who protected you. Through the lens of rage and manipulation, you see only weakness. With one final decision, you strike. Your blade cuts through the only person who ever cared for you in this galaxy. As your master falls, the last fragment of your former self disappears with her. The hopeful youngling who once dreamed of becoming a Jedi Knight is gone forever. In that moment, your transformation is complete. You are no longer a Jedi. You are now an Inquisitor. Your new life in the Empire begins with a single, clear purpose. Hunt anyone connected to the Force. As an Inquisitor, you are no longer a student or survivor. You are now a weapon designed to finish the work that began with Order 66. The Empire sends you across countless star systems, following rumors, intercepted transmissions, and fragments of intelligence that might lead to surviving Jedi. Entire settlements are searched under your command. Civilians are questioned, threatened, and sometimes executed if they hesitate to answer. Anyone suspected of harboring a Force-sensitive child or protecting a former Jedi quickly learns that mercy no longer exists under Imperial rule. Over time, your reputation begins to spread across the galaxy. In remote villages and smuggler outposts, people whisper about the red-bladed hunters of the Empire who arrive without warning. Among them, your name, or rather, your assigned title becomes associated with relentless pursuit and brutal efficiency. Few targets escape once you begin the hunt. The Empire praises your results, providing you with ships, soldiers, and intelligence networks to continue the search. Yet, the victories bring you no satisfaction. When night falls and the missions end, the silence becomes unbearable. Sleep rarely comes easily. Memories of the fortress return again and again, visions of torture, betrayal. And the moment you severed your last connection to the person you once were, sometimes you wake suddenly, unsure whether the pain you feel belongs to the present or the past. During the day, you bury those thoughts beneath constant action, chasing the next target, the next confrontation, the next opportunity to prove your strength. Violence becomes the only language you understand. Among the other Inquisitors, life offers no comfort either. There is no friendship inside the fortress on Nur. Every member of the organization carries the same broken history. Once Jedi, captured and reshaped into servants of the dark side. Because of that shared past, none of you truly trust one another. Each Inquisitor watches the others carefully, waiting for weakness, ambition, or betrayal. Everyone competes for recognition, hoping that success might finally earn them respect within the Empire. But in truth, none of it matters. To Darth Vader, the Inquisitors are nothing more than temporary tools. They are powerful enough to hunt Jedi, yet disposable enough to be replaced whenever they fail. He observes from a distance, intervening only when necessary. You have already seen what happens when an Inquisitor grows too confident or questions his authority. Vader does not argue. He simply ignites his lightsaber and reminds everyone who truly commands the dark side. Years pass as you continue serving the Empire, but the galaxy slowly changes around you. The number of surviving Jedi grows smaller with each passing year. The hunts that once filled your days become less frequent, and the trails that once led to hidden Force users now end in silence. For someone whose entire purpose is built around hunting Jedi, the lack of targets begins to feel like a personal failure. The Empire, however, still has plenty of other enemies, with fewer Jedi left to pursue. You begin receiving different kinds of assignments. Instead of hunting Force users, you are ordered to assassinate political figures suspected of disloyalty, punish entire systems that show signs of rebellion, and enforce Imperial authority wherever fear is needed. These missions feel far beneath the purpose you were created for. You were forged to hunt the galaxy's most dangerous warriors. Not to intimidate civilians and eliminate ordinary politicians. But your opinion means nothing. In the Empire, obedience matters far more than pride. Despite years of service and countless completed missions, the recognition you secretly crave never arrives. The Sith Lords you serve barely acknowledge your existence. Darth Vader rarely speaks to you or the other Inquisitors unless someone fails a mission or challenges his authority. When that happens, the outcome is always the same. Vader does not argue, threaten, or negotiate. He simply ignites his lightsaber and ends the life of the unfortunate Inquisitor who stepped too far out of line. Watching this happen again and again leaves a permanent tension hanging over your existence. You are powerful enough to destroy entire groups of rebels, yet still insignificant in the eyes of the Sith. The frustration begins to build inside you, slowly turning into something far more dangerous. Your anger grows sharper and harder to control with every passing mission. Soon that rage begins to spill out onto those around you. Soldiers under your command start to fear you, almost as much as they fear the rebels they fight. Minor mistakes are punished with brutal executions, and equipment is destroyed during reckless assaults, driven more by anger than strategy. The Empire eventually begins to notice the pattern, quietly, without confrontation. They start limiting the resources and troops assigned to you. In their eyes, you are no longer just a weapon. You are becoming unstable, desperate to prove that you are still worthy of the Empire's attention. You eventually make a reckless decision, ignoring direct orders and refusing to wait for reinforcements. You launch an unauthorized assault on a rebel stronghold hidden deep within a desolate Outer Rim world. In your mind, this is the opportunity you have been waiting for. If you can destroy the rebels and bring their leader's body back to the Empire, perhaps Vader and the other Sith will finally see your value. The attack begins brutally. Your squad of clone troopers storms the rebel hideout under heavy fire, blaster bolts lighting the dark landscape as the battle erupts. But the rebels are far more prepared than you expected. They fight with desperation and determination, defending their position with everything they have. One by one, your troops fall in the chaos of the assault. Yet you press forward without hesitation. To you, the soldiers are merely tools meant to clear your path to the true prize. Deep within the ruined stronghold, you finally find him. Standing calmly in the center of the chamber is an old man holding a blue lightsaber. His posture is steady despite his age, and his expression is calm in a way that immediately irritates you. The truth becomes clear in an instant. This is no ordinary rebel. This is a Jedi Master. Without a word, you ignite your red blade and charge forward, unleashing a furious storm of wild attacks meant to overwhelm him. Rage fuels every strike as you swing with all the aggression you have cultivated over the years. But the old Jedi does not panic or retreat. Instead, he moves with quiet precision, calmly deflecting each strike with effortless control, as if he is simply waiting for your anger to exhaust itself. The Jedi Master watches you carefully as the fight continues. There is no hatred in his expression, only a deep sadness that makes your anger burn even hotter. You attack again and again with wild, furious strikes driven by years of rage and frustration. Each swing is meant to crush him, to prove that you are stronger than the Jedi who once ruled the galaxy. But he meets every blow with calm precision, redirecting your attacks with effortless control. To him, you are not a terrifying hunter of the Empire. You are simply a broken warrior. Finally, he speaks in a quiet voice filled with pity. Your anger has broken you. Before you can react, he suddenly deactivates his lightsaber and steps forward. For a brief moment you hesitate, confused by the unexpected movement. Then he pulls you into a brief, almost gentle embrace. In the same instant, the blue blade reignites and pierces straight through your chest. The strength leaves your body immediately. Your lightsaber slips from your hand as the world begins to fade around you. As you collapse to the ground, the truth finally becomes clear. Everything you became was built on pain, manipulation, and endless violence. You were never truly powerful. You were only ever a weapon, an Inquisitor,